My dear, I don't give a damn. Margaret Mitchell. This quote may give you an example of what Margaret's personality was like. Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, project by Haley Burgett. Biography of the author. Mitchell was born 8th of November 1900 and died 16th of August 1949. She was known as a journalist and an author in the United States. Gone with the Wind was the most famous artwork of Mitchell. It was a novel with the setting in American Civil War. Mitchell had a charismatic personality and a great sense of humor, but she also dealt with depression and illness. Setbacks in her early life included the loss of her mother and her fiancé as a teenager. She was born 1900 into a wealthy and politically prominent family. Her father, Eugene Muse Mitchell, was an attorney, and her mother, Mary Isabel, or Maybelle Stevens, was a suffragist. Margaret Mitchell tends to be quite adaptable, and she finds it easy to fit into most social setups and vocational fields. Margaret Mitchell was an American rebel, and she also examines Gone with the Wind's cultural impact. For some of the work was a racial lightning rod, while others proved it was a model for survival. Margaret Mitchell was an Atlanta housewife, a former newspaper woman, and she showed a suitcase full of manuscript to a talent scout for the Macmillan Company in 1935. Margaret Mitchell, or Peggy Marsh to her friends, named her apartment The Dump. Summary of the book. Gone with the Wind is the most famous and controversial American novel by American writer Margaret Mitchell. Here she draws us into the lives and experiences of myriad colorful characters during and after the Civil War. Like William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, Mitchell plants a romantic tale of her star-crossed lovers torn apart and brought back together through tragedies and comedies of the human existence. The story begins at the O'Hara family cotton plantation, Tara, in Georgia. As the Civil War approaches, Scarlett O'Hara's husband dies while serving in the Confederate Army, leaving her a widow and their baby without a father. Melanie, which is Scarlett's sister-in-law, and the wife of Ashley Wykes, the neighbor of Scarlett actually loves. She convinces Scarlett to grieve her dead husband at the Atlanta home of Melanie's aunt, Pitty Pat. The arrival of the Union forces traps Scarlett in Atlanta, where she becomes acquainted with a guy named Rhett Butler. As Sherman's army burns Atlanta to the ground, Scarlett convinces Rhett to save them by stealing a horse and a carriage that will take her and her child back to Tara. Although many neighboring plantations have been destroyed altogether during these years, Tara has not escaped the war ravages, either leaving Scarlett ill-equipped to pay the higher taxes imposed upon the plantation by the Union forces. She returns to Atlanta trying to raise the money she needs, and Scarlett is reunited with Rhett, whose attraction to her continues, but he is unable to help her financially. And desperate for the money, Scarlett tricks her sister's fiancé, Atlanta businessman Frank Kennedy, into marrying her instead. Insisting on pursuing her business deals instead of staying home to raise her children, Scarlett finds herself accosted in a dangerous part of Atlanta. Frank and Ashley seek to avenge her, but Frank dies in the attempt, and it takes Rhett's timely intervention to save the day. He is now widowed again, but he is still in love with Ashley. But Scarlett marries Rhett, and they have a daughter. But after their daughter's death, and Scarlett's attempt to recreate pre-war Southern society around her with Rhett's money, she realizes it's not Ashley, but it's Rhett she loves. By then, it's too late, and Rhett's love for her had died. Why is this author famous? Margaret Mitchell was an American novelist. Gone with the Wind made Mitchell an instant celebrity and earned her the Pulitzer Prize. The author's net worth. Margaret Mitchell's net worth is $12 million. Her number of bestsellers is only Gone with the Wind because that is her only bestseller. The author's audience. This book is meant for more of a mature audience, like more of an adult. Why is she such a success? She is a success for writing the award-winning novel, The Gone with the Wind. Interesting facts about the book. Margaret wrote the book out of boredom. Almost no one knew she was writing the book. She had no intention of writing the book. Doc Holliday in the book was Margaret's cousin. Margaret does not know what happened with Scarlett and Rhett in the end. Even if you haven't read the book, almost everyone has heard of the last line written, which is, "Tomorrow is another day." Interesting facts about the author. When Mitchell was 3 years old, her skirt caught fire on an iron gate. Paranoid that it would happen again, Mitchell's mother began dressing her in pants, earning young Mitchell's nickname Jimmy, after the comic strip character Little Jimmy, and she was named this until she was 14 years old. These are my citations.